Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Hari Guru Vaishnava, Bhagavat, and Gita. By mercy of Krishna, we get Guru. Ramanda Brahmete Kono Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Rota Beach. Visual translation. কতজন বাংলা বুঝেন হাত তোলেন আর কয়েকজন ইংরেজি বুঝেন? How many know English? How many know English actually? Everybody do? You know English? You know English? The red sari there? Beyond the yellow sari, there's a red sari. You know English? Maybe for the Bengali, যারা বাংলা বোঝে না হিন্দিও বোঝে না, হিন্দি সহজ না, হিন্দি खेती आप जानते हैं हिंदी? Who doesn't know Hindi? You don't know. Okay, we'll translate here. No problem. You did a rough. I was mixing up when we someone in the middle of translation. You can understand? Little. You can understand? Little like that. Hindi and English. No problem. Like our Dhyan type of meditation and all the different main things that we need to remember in our devotional circle. Bhagwan, Chisam, Dhyan Pranachay, Chaitanya Nityananda, Advaita Sita Kakamani, Hari Guru Vaishnava, Bhagavat, Gita. We're getting the mercy through all these things. It says, then it goes to the six Goswamis. This is very important. Now from here on, is six Goswamis are the very dear servants of Lord Chaitanya. The Acharya Gosai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, बहुत आपन प्रतिनिधि है, गुरु है, प्रचारक है. Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta, Raghunath Das Goswami, Ichai Goswami. Ichai Goswami के पास प्रणाम अर्पण करता है. Ichai Goswami जार मुनि तार दास. उनके केवल प्रणाम नहीं देता है, जो छह गोसाई का भक्त है उनके चरण में के पास प्रणाम देता है. Why these six Goswamis? They are very special because they remove all obstacles. Jitna ki vigna hai. Just like we say Ganesh is Vigneshwara. In some places, Guru is also Vignesh. These are like, he takes away the vignas. Vigna Vinashak. Narasimhadev is Vigna Vinashak. And for devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis, they remove obstacles. Vigna Vinash karta hai. 6 Gosai ka Gyan, Puja, Archana. How many of you have any obstacles in your spiritual life? Anyone? कौन थोड़ा विघ्न है पारमार्थिक जीवन में, कोनो बाधा आछे तुम्हारे जीवन में, पारमार्थिक जीवन में? कुछ नहीं, कभी कभी होता है, हो सकता है, अभी नहीं भविष्य हो सकता है। जो 6 गोसाई का आशीर्वाद से कट जाएगा, खत्म होगा। Narottam says, Tasabar Padarenu More Panchagras. The dust from their lotus feet is my 5 types of food. तो 5 प्रकार आहार है, उसके 5 प्रकार आहार मेरा वही जो पदा रेणु है, जो पदा धूली है, छारगसाई, उनके पदा धूली मेरा आहार है, 5 प्रकार आहार। हृदय चारण सेवी भक्त सनिवास, जन्मे जन्मे हो ये अभिलाष। I want to serve, you see, their lotus feet and live in association with the devotees. So their charan sevi, to serve their lotus feet. Charan means lotus feet, Pada Padma. भगवान का जो शुद्ध भक्त शरण गोसाई है, उनके श्री चरण में सेवा करना, उनके भक्तों साथ में बास करना, इसे प्रयास किया। केवल एक जन्म के लिए नहीं, जन्म जन्म है, बहुत जन्म हो सकता है, कुछ तकलीफ नहीं है, बहुत खुश होगा। उनके भक्त के साथ बास करना और भगवान का सेवा करना। Be very happy to serve. Even life after life. That's his intention here. This is very important for us because serving in the association of devotees is very important. Because devotees have different outlook on life. भक्त के साथ सेवा करने का बहुत जोर है। भक्त के साथ भक्ति उदय होता है। We get more strength in the association of devotees. जब अभक्त के साथ है, भक्त का दूसरा चिंता है, जहाँ आप लोग जाइए सिनेमा में, जाइए क्लब में, जाइए दूसरा गाँव में जाइए। भक्त अभी कीर्तन हमारे गुरुदेव आया था, वैकुंठ परिवर्थन में जाएंगे। So they do different, let's go to the program at the hall, let's have some spiritual prasadam. So that association, also that appreciation. They know that to serve Krishna in association with devotee, that's like being in spiritual world. To Paramarthik Jagat means बास करना और भक्त संग के बास करना फर्क नहीं है। इच्छाई गोसाई जब बजे खोला बास राधा कृष्ण नित्य लीला कोहिला प्रकाश। Six Goswamis, they reveal Radha Krishna's eternal pastimes. What they're doing, Ashtakalin Leela, when Krishna is going, when he goes to Radhakund, when he goes to Govardhan, when he goes to Suryakund, when he goes, Jo kya karma, Krishna kya Leela, आपके 24 घंटा अंदर में अष्ट जो प्रहार लीला है, ये सब रहस्य तत्व शरद गोसाई प्रकाश किया वृंदावन से। शरद गोसाई जो तत्व बहुत रहस्यजनक, बहुत गोपन तत्व सब प्रकाश किया। अभी हम लोग कुछ जानते हैं कि क्या कृष्ण लीला क्या चीज है, लेकिन शरद गोसाई पहले इसे बहुत गोपनीय था। भागवत भी है, थोड़ा पुराण में है, तो पूरा पुराण भागवत स्टडी किया, ऐसे उसके ग्रंथ अंदर में प्रकाश किया। Because it's all scattered, like Brahma Vaivata Puran has something, this Puran has something, that Puran. So none of us had the time to study all the Puranas and piece it together. They took it all together and put it, this is what's going on. Plus to their own realization and some secrets revealed to them, they get a full picture. That's why we're very indebted to them. Ananda Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Mazayamon. So I'm chanting Ananda Bolo Hari. बहुत आनंद सहित भगवान का नाम कीर्तन करता है और वृंदावन में वसन करता है। वृंदावन इतना पवित्र स्थान है। और श्री गुरु वैष्णव श्री चरण में प्रणाम देता है, ध्यान करता है, आनंद मिलता है उनके सेवा से। There's a special ecstasy. This verse is very ecstatic. Ananda Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. When you say it, you feel so happy. Right? What Ananda milta hai is slok se. Ananda Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Ananda Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Ananda Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Fix our mind. The lotus feet are Guru Vaishnavas. So I said, so that time things are developing. He's saying that I'm worshipping Vrindavan and great happiness, chanting the holy names, and meditating on the lotus feet of Guru and Vaishnava. And he says, Sri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Kuriyas. I simply desire the service of the Guru and the Vaishnava's lotus feet. Guru Vaishnava ka charan seva as karta hu. This as under me my nama sankirtan karta hu. So this type of meditation and prayer sung in a more of a quick tempo. I don't know all that. Not so much of a bhajan singer, lack of time. But these bhajans have very deep meanings. वो कविता है, इसे बचन का वो अंदर में बहुत गंभीर अर्थ है. हरि हरि विफले जन्म गवाइनु मनुष्य जन्म पाइना राधा कृष्ण न बजाइया बजिया जनिया सुनिया विष खाइया. मेरा जन्म तो विफल हो गया, मनुष्य जन्म मिल गया, लेकिन राधा कृष्ण न बज गया. जनिया सुनिया विष खाइया. वो विष खाई गया. I ate poison. How to say that? Knowingly I ate poison. जानबूझ के विष खाया. जानबूझ के विष खाया. जहर खाया. जहर खाया. What is that poison? Poison of materialistic life. Materialistic life poisons our spiritual life. Of course, you can say that spiritual life poisons the material life. Once you get a taste for spiritual life, then you're not.
Middle East.
King Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, O great sage, why did King Priyavrata, who was a great self-realized devotee of the Lord, remain in household life, which is the root cause of the bondage of karma, fruitive activities, and which defeats the mission of human life? Report by Srila Prabhupada. In the fourth canto, Srila Sukadeva Goswami explains that Narada Muni perfectly instructed King Priyavrata about the mission of human life. The mission of human life is to realize oneself and then gradually to go back home, back to Godhead. Since Narada Muni instructed the king fully on this subject, why did he again enter household life, which is the main cause of material bondage? Maharaja Parikshit was greatly astonished, and King Priyavrata remained in household life, especially since he was not only a self-realized soul, but also a first-class devotee of the Lord. A devotee actually has no attraction for household life, but surprisingly King Priyavrata enjoyed household life very much. One may argue, why is it wrong to enjoy household life? We find that in household life one becomes bound by the results of fruitive activities. The essence of household life is sense enjoyment. And as long as one engrosses his mind in working hard for sense enjoyment, one becomes bound by the reactions of fruitive activities. This ignorance of self-realization is the greatest defeat in human life. The human form of life is especially meant for getting out of the bondage of fruitive activities. But as long as one is forgetful of his life's mission and acts like an ordinary animal, eating, sleeping, mating, and fending, he must continue his conditional life of material existence. Such a life is called Swarupa Vismriti. Forgetfulness of one's real constitutional position. Therefore, in Vedic civilization, one is trained in the very beginning of life as a brahmachari. The brahmachari must execute austerities and refrain from sex indulgence. Therefore, if one is completely trained in the principles of brahmacharya, he generally does not enter household life. He is then called a Naistiki or Naistika brahmachari, which indicates total celibacy. King Parikshit was thus astonished that the great king Priyavrata, although trained in the principles of Naistika brahmacharya, entered household life. The words Bhāgavata Atma Rama are very significant in this verse. If one is self-satisfied, as is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is called Bhāgavata Atma Rama. There are different kinds of satisfaction. Karmis are satisfied in their fruitive activities. Gyanis are satisfied to merge into the effulgence of Brahman. And devotees are satisfied to engage in this Lord's service. The Lord is self-satisfied because he is fully opulent. And one who is satisfied by serving him is called Bhāgavata Atma Rama. Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Out of many thousands of persons, one may be, may endeavor for liberation. Now many thousands of persons attempting to become liberated. One may achieve liberation from the anxieties of material existence and become self-satisfied. Even that satisfaction, however, is not the ultimate satisfaction. The Gyanis and the Karmis have desires as do the Yogis, but devotees have no desires. Satisfaction in the service of the Lord is called akama, freedom from desire, and this is the ultimate satisfaction. Therefore Maharaj Parikshit inquired, how could one who was fully satisfied on the highest platform be satisfied with family life? The word prabhava in this verse is also significant. When one is satisfied in family life, he is doomed, because he must already have forgotten his relationship with the Lord. Halat, Maharaj describes how the activities of family life implicate one more and more. Atma Patam Vihamanda Kupam. Household life is like a dark well. If one falls into this well, his spiritual death is assured. How Priyavrata Maharaj remained a liberated Paramahamsa, even within family life, is described in the very next verse. verse. Nanudam Mukta Sanganam Tradishanam Vijarshabha Viheshva Vinay Deshoyam Punsam Bhavitum Arhati. Translation by His Divine Grace Jayapataka, Swami Prabhupada. Devotees are certain liberated persons, therefore greatest of the Brahmanas. They cannot possibly be absorbed in family affairs. So this is the fifth canto, first chapter, first verse, and second verse. Priyavrata Maharaj was the son of Swayambhuva Manu. And he, as a disciple of Narada Muni, had been practicing his devotional service and become very advanced. So he was able to be totally absorbed in serving Krishna as a prince and brahmachari. His father asked him to take over the ruling of the world. Then he was concerned that maybe I'll get diverted from my spiritual path if I had to take up all these family affairs. So then, in order to counter, and then he was not quite agreeable. Although he can't refuse his father, at the same time, he wanted to be sure that this was the right thing to do. So this chapter is actually the discussion where Brahmadeva comes down and preaches to King Priya, brother Prince Priyavrata, on how he can remain Krishna conscious in the Grihastha life, and how he can rule the world and still not be diverted from his devotional service. So, this is very relevant because here most people are grihastas, or probably planning to be grihastas and not one already. And it's also the verses we read today highlight that grihastha life without Krishna consciousness is very dangerous. I know I met one man, he came to me and said, samsara parodharma. Household life is the supreme dharma. But these are not, you cannot find these things anywhere in any shastra. Rather, it's saying that grihastha life is, of course, it's much more responsible than someone who's just like a bachelor and not taking any responsibility. At the same time, it's very much entangling in the material fruitive activities. Whenever we have any happiness in material life, that means we're getting more implicated in material suffering. So, ultimately, it came down to a simple formula. We have to do what the Lord wants us to do. If the Lord wants us to be a grihastha, be a king or be a whatever, then we do it. Because the Lord wants us to do it. And then sometimes people, they come, they're already grihasthas, they've already been in their family entanglements. They want to leave it. The Lord Chaitanya said, don't talk about that, because that's also artificial. Rather transform your grihastha life to a preaching mission. Jari Dakho Tari Kaho Krishna Pradesh Amrake Guru Mayatari Desh. He told one grihastha in Andhra Pradesh, in Kurma Stan. This year we went to the Kurma Stan. It's about 2-3 hours drive from Visakhapatnam. You've heard of Visakhapatnam?
We were staying there.
So you ever went to Kurma Desh? Yeah, it's north. You have to go on National Highway. No, it's very close to only Visakhapatnam.
From Visakhapatnam to Vijayanagar.
I don't think so. I may be wrong. I got the impression that we are going north. Śrīmad. But anyway, whichever way, one way or the other, it's on the way. But I think we are going to go the opposite way, towards the northern side, towards Orissa. I think so, because otherwise we could have gone on the way to Vijayawada, but we had to go the other way.
That is called Vijayanagar, towards Orissa side, from Visakhapatnam to Vijayanagar.
Vijayanagar.
Srikakulam, Vijayanagar.
Not Vijayawada.
No, Vijayawada is south.
Vijayanagar, okay. So, I have a slide actually. This very ancient temple. They say that in India, in the world, it's only Kurma temple. Have you ever heard of another Kurma temple? Kachap. This Church of Lord Tortoise. They keep saying Lord Tortoise. So he's got a round back and 4 legs and head and tail. The tail was somehow, I don't know what happened to the tail. So a big tail was given by Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara. He gave a big Sudarshan Chakra shield, which they put by the tail. You can see his head, and there's the legs you can't see, but they say the legs are underneath it, like some covering, some cloth to cover the legs. So this deity, they say, helps to remove the Purva Janam, you see, Kalanka, any kind of previous birth difficulties. If anybody is facing some kind of problem from their previous birth, So you can figure out why I'm facing this problem. That type of problem is destroyed by cognitive personality problems, and health problems, spiritual obstacles. So Lord Chaitanya, he is famous because when he went there, he had cured one leper, Vasudeva, from leprosy. So everyone knows, in the time of 500 years, they all know Lord Chaitanya. He put his lotus footprint there. The Lord Chaitanya visited here and he cured a leper. So then when he handed down from father to son. See, also there was one Brahmana who came to him and said, I got house, I got family, I got all kinds of facilities, wife, children, money, social status, everything. But I'm not happy. So I'll leave everything and join you and become sannyasi. Then Lord Chaitanya said, I want to hear this from you ever again. All these words should come from your mouth. This is like a monkey renunciation. You don't like what you're doing, you want to renounce everything. This is not renunciation. Rather, you use your family as a base for preaching. You have your social status, you have your social everything. So now you can tell everyone you meet to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. It's amazing. See, Parikshit Maharaj, he's cursed to die. What's the first thing he did? He left his family. Duties, left his kingly duties. He's sitting by the side of the holy river and he's asking the sages, tell me what I can do to get liberation. Because he knows that this happiness that we get in a family life isn't free. It comes with a price. It comes with the price of repeated birth and death. So somebody is really interested in their liberation, then they have to somehow counteract that. And normally, like if you're in the Jnana mind, a lot of people are Jnanis, we like Jnanis, so we like Karma Kanda. But Karma Kanda, anyway, doesn't give liberation at all. All it gives is Swargavas, heavenly. And the Jnanis, they say if you want to get liberation, you have to be a sannyasi. It's only the Bhakti Yoga. If you have examples like Priyavrata Maharaj, like Parikshit Maharaj, like Dhruva Maharaj, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, like Arjuna Maharaj, like Ambarish Maharaj, people who were householders, who live with a wife and family, or like Draupadi, Lady Sai, Kunti, come to mind, and many other great Vaishnavis. Because they were engaging in devotional service as a grihastha, they could overcome the danger that household life brings. Because if we are too much happy, when you find someone who's, I don't need spiritual life, I'm very happy, I mean the person is in big danger. They don't realize what it means is that you're very happy, you're very attached to material life, you're doing all kinds of karmas, that you have to again take birth again. If you again take birth, you're going to come back. You're not going to get moksha at the end of life. And because of if there's bad karmas that were performed, maybe this life you had a good birth, brahmana or something. If you don't do even the good karmas, like previously, people at least in household life, they did their karmas. They did their satkarma kriyas. So as a result, every time they could get another good birth. But now people, they're not even, they think that I got a good job in Infosys or in some company, and this is because of my hard work and my good education. They don't see that this is because of their karma. That from previous life they could get the opportunity to have a good education, have the opportunity to get a good body, so that everyone could walk behind the video camera. Just to let you know. Okay, give them space. That it's not a common thing. There's lots of people in this world who don't have a good education, who don't have a big salary. Many of our devotees, they're struggling, working hard, they don't have that same opportunity. Why did somebody get ahead and somebody didn't? No, the karmi, the materialistic people, they think it's just because of our hard work. But even in America, you got poor people also. It's not like the American dream includes within it a lot of suffering people also. There's no social support. I would say, the American dream is probably more relevant, more, you could say, the Australian dream, or the New Zealand dream, or the Swedish dream, or something, where even a poor person can get medical treatment. In America, they don't have a subsidized medicine unless you get under some special category of Medicare. And a poor person doesn't get the medical treatment they need. It doesn't exist. It's very difficult. There's no social, it's not a socialistic state, it's totally capitalistic. So a lot of people are suffering everywhere in the world. Even people have all of that they need. It doesn't mean that they don't suffer. So how we get how much happiness, how much distress, how much success? It says we're getting the result of good karmas from previous life, charity given, pujas performed, different kinds of sat karmas that were performed. They give a good birth, they get a good education, they get a good body with a certain capacity to it. They get all this kind of freedom from disease. And the lack of those things are due to less karma. So somebody is not doing any karma in this life, not doing any charity, not doing any right kind of charity. Some people do charity, which is that maybe they're distributing fish to the Cambodian refugees or something. They're actually doing a bad karma because they're responsible for killing the fish. So they should do the right kind of karma. But even if they do good karma, they get a good birth, that's all. Doesn't mean moksha. For jnana, they can study jnana and all that, but they won't get the liberation until they are free from the family life, according to Shankaracharya, if you take his point of view. So that's where the Bhakti Yoga is so important. Everybody needs to do Bhakti Yoga. Giving in charity to Krishna, but also practicing every day our daily activities as offering to Krishna. This is what I said, some people call it true religious. Those people that say true religious, they think that they're going to take birth again. It's not true religious, it's actually what we need. We need to have a regular sadhana, a regular practice of devotional service. And that is some of these that's there for the grihastas as well as the vairagis. So the grihastas' type of devotional service may be different, but that's why this Priyavrata whole chapter is very important, because at face value, like Parikshit just saying, well, he's a grihasti. So from a very superficial point of view, he's thinking that, well, he's enjoying grihastha life, he's having children, he's a king, he's having money, he's all these things. So he's entangled. See, but that's obviously, even a great devotee like Parikshit is not fully clear about the greatness of the devotional service. Because generally people are trained in karma and gyan, maybe a little yoga. Bhakti is a very confidential practice. Even Parikshit Maharaj is such a great devotee, he's asking such questions. Even his parents are so great, his grandparents, the Pandavas. But he has also this doubt. So this chapter reveals actually how Priyavraja, by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, by carrying out the order of Krishna, he didn't want to be married actually. He's resisting. He's questioning his father. So is this not dangerous for me? Sometimes you get a situation where in a family, one of the children doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to be involved in a family life, they want to do devotional service. Quite rare, but that happens occasionally. Then the parents, they try to pressure the child. Because normally if someone doesn't want to get married, it's not good. Maybe they'll have some illicit relationship, maybe they'll have some love marriage later. Better to find a good girl that will be able to create a good family. This is the normal logic. It's quite reasonable logic actually. But from the traditional point of view, and I respect that. But there are some cases where someone is really spiritually advanced and they're not inclined. This case happened with one of the very rich families in India, one of the billionaire families. Is the son, he wanted to become a devotee at one point. And actually the parents flipped out with his only son. So the only son means really tough. Sometimes the youngest son or son get away with it. But it was the only son. Then their parents, they did all plugs, they pulled, and they stopped the boy that no, you absolutely can't do anymore devotional. But he was a very nice devotee. And then, so they succeeded to turn him away from Krishna a little bit. But then then the other thing happened, that if he had practiced more, but we usually 90%, even they practice devotional service, they usually get married. Not 90, 99, 98, 99%. Anyway, they get married. But after some preparation. In this case, the parents flipped out. They didn't let him go to the temple much. Then they sent him off somewhere. Then he got into love with some girl. The parents didn't like that girl either. They said, you can't marry. Then finally, the both of them, boy and the girl, they committed suicide together. And then the parents, they're devastated. What have we done? They're over trying to control every step of life, control. Finally, they finished. Then they realized that he let him be devoted, maybe things would have happened a totally different way. Maybe we were wrong. He was a good boy. He was a spiritually inclined boy. We didn't let him follow what his calling was, his aspiration. In the due course, whether he'd be married or not, like Krishna would have seen, that would have been revealed. But he had a calling at that time, and we block it. Then we put him in more Maya, and he had another fall down kind of. Every step that we couldn't adjust to. They donated many things in the name of the son. I don't want to mention the family, it's a very private thing, but they're a very well-known family. This is a family you see in the newspaper almost every day in India. It's one of the top 10 big families in India. So, you face these things all the time. Sometimes somebody wants to become a devotee and live in the temple. Usually they become, then later after some time they realize what their nature is, whether it's better for them. Because what we advise, in Kali Yuga, we don't want people to become sannyasis. Sannyas is not recommended. But someone who takes some training as a brahmachari when they're unmarried, isn't a bad thing. If they have inclination, then they can take that training. Then at some point in their progress, they decide whether they want to remain as a brahmachari or they want to get married. As I said, most people, they opt for marriage. It's a bit secure. But this time now they marry, so they're for a Krishna conscious girl. And the girl wants also a good husband that's Krishna conscious. They try to create a Krishna conscious family. So that's the situation that happened with Siddhartha Muni, with Devahuti. He realized that I need to go through the Grihastha experience before I can do other phases of renunciation or anything. I need to experience that. I need to go through that. So he got married to Devahuti, who was the daughter of the same Swami. And this is the son of Swami. So now he wants to get, he should know, maybe Swami himself wants to know, he's getting older, he wants now to go into Vanaprastha, to go into the more retired life. So he needs his son to take up the load as the king. The son, he's spiritually inclined, so what to do? So they're not forcing him, they're to convince him. That's the whole secret. You force somebody, they're not convinced. You have to convince them what's the right thing. In this case, they are convincing to become a Grihastha, and how he can be saved, because now even the father, the son is not accepting what the father says. There's a clash here. Father and son disagreement. Father wants you that you should become a householder. Son is saying, what about my spiritual life? Will I take me safe? So Brahmadev himself is going to come down and instruct Priyavrata. We're getting the top authority in the universe coming. Because being a Manu is not a small thing. It's like being Indra, being Manu. Very big post. So really what's happening in Priyavrata is becoming one of the Manus. Something like that. He's taking a very major role in the universe. I don't know if he's becoming Manu or he's becoming head of the whole planet, but something very significant. Like millions of people are going to be depending on his guidance and management. So, whole planet. So Brahma comes down and instructs him, and these instructions are really relevant for all of us. Even now as a sannyasi, we have to deal, we're not like that type of sannyasi. Karma sannyas is totally forbidden in this Kali Yuga, going off in the forest and just doing renunciation. Even we who are so-called sannyasis, when we take vow of celibacy, but apart from that, we have to deal with, we have our, ISKCON is a corporation in many countries, with the corporate directors. Although we have to deal with the corporate problems, we have to apply for income tax exemption, and we have to turn in our annual reports. And we have to see that all the branches are meeting the account procedures. If there's some disciplinary problem, we have to deal with it. We have to, so many factors. We have to make planning for temples, but of course it's all direct service to Krishna. So that's the point. Is if we're doing something directly for Krishna, even though it might appear to be like somewhat of a mundane activity. I mean, you could be planning a factory or we're planning a temple, but that's all the same civil engineering. We're sitting and looking at blueprints and we're seeing the floor plans and the master plans and everything. So the activity is the same, but then we're doing it for Krishna. So by doing it for Krishna, it becomes spiritualized. So how does he has to do the things for Krishna? That's the secret. You see, if he's sometimes they do some direct things, like they're pitching and they're having a bhakti vriksha in their house, or they're coming to the program or listening to their classes. That's one way. Other thing is like Prabhupada said, like their work. So we're working, we're getting a certain income. So that income also is it's like kind of transferring our work into money, right? The money is the result of the work. So all the work, sum total, is the money we get out of it. So a portion of that, if we're giving directly to some seva for Krishna, that purifies to that extent our work. Now we can never give 100%, so that if we actually 50% of our profit, of our surplus, of what we don't, above what we need to just survive, then actually that's as good as a sannyasi. Normally Grihastha would give, of course hardly anybody give, I don't know, it's somehow hard to calculate what we need to survive and housing. The different ways of calculating it. Like if somebody wants to be a member of the governing body commission, ISKCON as a Grihastha, he can do it. But then it says if he's working, there's three kinds: those who are fully dependent on ISKCON, those who are partially dependent, and those who are like self-sufficient financially, but they're working full-time, more or less for ISKCON, a little part-time, they're doing some independent business or something, and those who are totally outside employed. So for those who are totally outside employed, to be a GBC at ISKCON, the 50% they have to be spending in Krishna to show. So 50% they're spending somehow on Krishna conscious activities of their total budget. So they can be a very exemplary, exemplary grihastas. Otherwise, there's only people we enforce it in ISKCON. We don't enforce it for others, but it's their voluntary what they want to do. But some formulas are given how we can be Krishna conscious and how we can get back to Godhead. Now, of course, normally even if someone goes to the grihastha life, when the husband and wife, when they retire, they become like vanaprastha. So then already they're considered out of the grihastha life, but they're still living together. But as a vanaprastha, they take celibacy vow. I mean, they don't have any more relations. So that till that time they can be considered grihasthas. Even some grihasthas don't have relations, but they're still actively doing their businesses and managing things. When they kind of retire from all that, and they're just doing preaching, and they're just doing, you can say, visiting holy places and that type of thing, spiritual activities. They're just guiding maybe the family business, the children are running, they guide in some time, but they're not doing the hands-on management. Then that's considered like a vanaprastha stage. Or in the case of when they're still managing the business themselves. Like yesterday we were at Balarāmadeśa, and there we met one grihastha who was 74 years old. He's still managing his business, but his son is helping out, but he hasn't given up the management of the business. He's still on it. So at 74, it's not a vanaprastha. Although, maybe due to age, celibate, I don't know. So you have this kind of phases in life. Usually most people come up to, many people, not most, but a rare people might come up to vanaprastha. The final stage of vanaprastha is one is quite separate from the family, but still goes and visits and everything, sees how things are going. Then the sannyas is actually when you fully renounce the connection with the wife. For this kind, unless the wife gives permission, we don't let anybody take sannyas. It has to be something really well organized for a grihastha. Or sometimes, in one case, like Puri Maharaj, his wife died of cancer, and the daughter was still said, wait 2-3 years because you have a daughter, let her get settled. Do your family, finish off all your duties as a grihastha, then your wife is unknown, and then you can consider it whether you take sannyas. In the beginning, people were taking sannyas very cheaply, and it wasn't very unsuccessful. They'd go back to their families, or they would be in big anxiety, it would be too much of a shock. So now there's a whole system, like if somebody's under 40, they have to wait some like 10 years to get sannyas. If they're over 40, it's a 5-year waiting list. Over 50, there's a 3-year waiting list. Plus, they had to get permission from the family. Plus, they had to settle down all the family. The wife has all system maintained properly. She's got everything settled, some pension and all that. And they had to do their duties as a grihastha. Then they can renounce. Not as long as the wife is, of course, the life leaves them or something, that's a whole other picture. As long as the wife is dependent on the husband. So most people actually, they stay as a grihastha, but then they need to really form their grihastha life, so that Krishna is the nature. It takes a gradual practice, especially if they're just starting new. How do they first start out a few rounds, and they start coming to the programs, and eventually then they the regular reading and learning how to do sadhana bhakti, doing pujas in their house. And maybe be a little contribution for some Krishna conscious project or something. Then when they build their house back in India, when they build their residence, somehow it's good if they have the capacity, they have some facility where they can preach also. Have a preaching room. If it's a little separate, then it won't be a disturbance for the family. Sometimes people, they don't like to go to somebody's house for programs. In India, it's like that. For one reason or another, some family feud or something. If they have a separate facility, then they don't mind. Or it's a big hassle when people come in the house, they put a whole vibe on the household. So in some respects, if those people have a standalone house, it's nice to have their own preaching facility. Separate. Somehow to keep that now as a devotee, I had to continue on with my devotional service. Now being here in the Middle East is a special facility because Prabhupada has said if you're doing some kind of preaching in a difficult place, like the Middle East, you get 1,000 times the benefit. It's like being almost, if you're in a holy Dham, you get 1,000 times, if you're in the Middle East, you get 1,000 times. So here the grihasthas who are doing the bhakti vikshas in their home are taking some responsibility to organize the programs and everything. They're really doing a great sacrifice. To different degrees, some risks might have been involved. Now we know a lot of those risks have been neutralized by the new constitution and the support of the ministries and things and ambassador. But still, there's always some tension a little bit. Because if neighbors complain or anybody complain, then there's always some problem. So one has to be, it's not like, I mean, even in the West, if neighbor complains, sometimes the police come, but here, you lose your job or something. So there's a little tension. You want to do that things, if you do it carefully, there's no problem. But you have to be careful, that's always. In Śrīmad, I told them, you have to be very loud. People are gathering outside in front. And so finally, I told them, in fact, I ran from the house one night. I said, you people are crazy. You don't know where you are. Because they're all following me and everything. And I said, you can't do all this thing. You have to be very discreet. Stay in here. Say goodbye inside. Don't follow me outside. Don't do all this thing. And sure enough, some neighbor complained, and that's a very tough place. Chariot law and everything. And they stopped it. But they didn't export it. There was no permanent damage, but definitely the landlord came and said that no more program here. You're finished. So this attention always, not to, and sometimes, especially our Balarāmadeśa devotee, I don't let complain, but they're very enthusiastic people. I love them. They're dear to me. One thing is there's too much enthusiastic sometimes, and they have to be very careful because their enthusiasm sometimes they forget where we are. We have to adapt according to the time, place, and circumstance. But the upside is because of this tension, because of this slight danger that's there. If somebody is doing that preaching, they're also getting a big benefit. They're getting 1,000 times the benefit. So it's it doesn't come without its perks, You just like you work in the Middle East, you get a bigger salary, but some downside, some upside. So when you're doing some preaching, a little bit of a tension area, so there's a downside, there's an upside. Probably when you go back to India and preach, you'll find it more tough. You may get less credit. You won't get 1,000 more.
Thank you for watching our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.